Good afternoon, evening, whatever time it is when you're watching this, if you're not with me live. Deborah Roth here from Spirited Living, and back this week with one of my Inner Goddess Team videos, but with a little twist. One of the few times that I will be invoking and celebrating and teaching you about a male god, or in this case, an Orisha, which is what they are called in the Yoruban tradition. And always in this space, it is all about honoring the divine feminine, and this particular Orisha is a good reminder that the divine feminine and the traits of compassion and intuition and collaboration and supporting each other are found in men and women. And if you want to know more about why I'm so devoted, why I'm so passionate about the bringing back of these qualities of the divine feminine back into the world, you can go to my YouTube channel if you're not already there, and click on the I, or look for a description of divine feminine energy. But this, you've probably heard of this, not in ways that you normally would hear of goddesses, but this Orisha, this male deity, is called Babalú-Ayé. And if that sounds vaguely familiar, Desi Arnaz back in the days of I Love Lucy, ages ago, depending on how old you are, you may have remembered watching I Love Lucy on TV. He was of Cuban descent, and there are a couple, and I'll include in the YouTube description, which typically goes up on Thursday each week, a link to him singing to Babalú, Babalú-Ayé. You'll see the spelling of this in the description of this video. And Babalú, I'll refer to him by his kind of shortened name, was probably still is really one of the most loved as well as feared Orishas, or gods, in the Yoruban tradition. Now, when I talk about the Yoruban tradition, this tradition was basically brought to us through the enslaved people who came from Africa. And when they arrived in the Caribbean, their religion, their spiritual beliefs became kind of interwoven with the indigenous peoples there, and also with the Europeans who brought them here. So it's this interesting mix, and Babalú represents a very perfect example of that, because he's considered to be the equivalent of Saint Lazarus in the Catholic tradition in particular. And those of you who know your Bible or know Christian stories know that there are a couple different versions of Lazarus, but the one that Babalú is connected to is one who was a leper, and who walked the earth with leprosy and unsightly sores, and was not welcome anywhere. And Jesus healed him, and he was one of the many examples in the Christian tradition of the healing power of Jesus's love. And every year in Cuba on December 17th, which is why I brought Babalú in, there is a pilgrimage. Actually, it's a walk. They don't even call it a pilgrimage. It's La Caminata, I think, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Yes, Caminata, which means a special walk. And what happens on that day is that devotees, thousands of devotees, descend on the town of El Rincón in Cuba, and it's done in the prayer. They make this pilgrimage, they make this special walk in the hopes that a prayer for healing for themselves or for others will be answered, or to give thanks for a healing prayer that they have made to the divine. And this saint is revered throughout Cuba, and he typically is portrayed as you can't really see it so much in this photo, but there are many. I mean, definitely look at images online of Babalú-Ayé. He is covered either with burlap because he needed to, or he was so defiled by and not accepted by people because of his leprosy, that he covered himself in burlap in some versions, other versions in raffia. So if you look for images of him online, you'll see, in some cases, you can't see him at all. He's completely shrouded so that you can't see his sores and his scars. And he's always surrounded, and again, you can't really see it in this image, he's often accompanied by 2 loyal dogs who lick his sores to help heal him and help him feel better. And he's the Caminata that happens in Cuba. People enact his journey for acceptance, for love, for healing by literally crawling on the ground, which is what he was reduced to in his sickest times. They crawl to this special church where there's then all kinds of celebrations in his honor on his behalf, and where his petitioners, his devotees, make offerings to him, which could be wine, it could be tobacco, apparently not supposed to be sesame seeds and something else. I think they're very specific things to welcome him. And somewhere I read, and it was perfect because it's one of my favorite shirts, his colors are purple and black and gold. And I love when I can embody the energy of whatever the deity, whatever the god or goddess, in this case Orisha, is that we're talking about today. So he's also the healer of fevers. And when I first discovered him, I actually did I didn't write anything about it because I was just getting started during the pandemic. Around this time, probably December of 2020, that he is the healer of plagues, so of HIV, of smallpox, and COVID. So the fact that I found him during COVID was really kind of interesting. And it feels very, I did not make this connection when I decided to bring him in again because of the December 17th connection. I am having full hip replacement surgery the beginning of January, and followed several months later probably by knee replacement. And so I just love that I've really reconnected with this powerful Orisha at the time when I definitely have petitions for healing. And I'm discovering not just of body, but just my spirit and my mind. I've never had an operation like this in my life. And so there are all kinds of synchronicities happening around in my own personal life about an invitation for you about invoking these gods and orishas of healing. So he is, heat is another property of Babalú. That's where the fever comes from. And as we know, fevers will kill off the bacteria that, and heating up the body is one way to expel any disease. And it comes from, and it's interesting that he celebrated this time of year, which, in Cuba, there's not much of a change in temperature, but in the north, it's a time literally when Earth seems to die, when everything withers and goes underground and then is reborn, is given new life, which is what happened in the story of Lazarus. So I think we think of him. Let's see if there's something else I want to tell you about him in particular. Oh, there's also a ceremony, a practice called Awán, which is dedicated to Babalú. And a basket is lined with sackcloth, which is like burlap, and encircled with plates of food. And practitioners cleanse themselves with handfuls of food that they throw into the basket until everyone is cleansed. And they rub the food on themselves. I think in that symbolic healing of Babalú's sores, of Lazarus's sores. And then there's a speckled rooster, a guinea hen, 2 eggs, and a whole ritual around honoring and the cleansing that Babalú can provide. And at the end, people walk around the basket and they sing praises to Babalú. So it's such a rich story, and such a beautiful, I think, integration of all these various traditions coming together. And I think, oh, somebody's just sent me a nice note. Oh, hello, Roberta. Just thinking about you today. Lovely. Wonderful to see you here. So this is the time. Call on Babalú if you need healing for yourself, or healing for someone else. And it's not just, yes, it is personal healing, but it's also healing of the land. It's healing in all aspects, all sources of healing, of the elderly, being a protector for health, very health oriented. So Babalú provides comfort and help. And I love that Babalú introduces us to his friend, and this is part of his story, Yawa, the saint of the cemetery. And she dances on the graves because she is helping the dead move through their transition. And then once she does, once she's helped them with the transition, she introduces these newly dead souls to Oya, the Orisha of wind and storms and death, and also of rebirth. So I love that, yes, see, we're bringing in some divinely feminine energy in the form of female Orishas with these other connections that Babalú has in his journey, and with the powerful work that he does for us. So a little bit about him, and I will share with you, there's probably some kind of beautiful chant or something in Spanish that maybe they sing in the La Caminata in Cuba. But what I will share with you is one of my favorite healing chants that even if there's no one else around, maybe especially if there's no one else around, to be able to just sing for yourself. And as you know, with chanting, if you've watched me at all, chanting is a vocal meditation. And the idea with chanting is that I always just sing it a few times, but the idea with chanting is that you sing it over and over until you think you can't keep singing anymore, and then you keep singing. And it's a way to really cross the threshold, cross the limit from the mundane world into the magical world. So I will sing it a few times. Chants are always very simple so that you can embody them and sing them easily yourselves. And it goes like this. I am a circle, I am healing you. You are a circle, you are healing me. Unite us, be as one. Unite us, be as one. I am a circle, I am healing you. You are a circle, you are healing me. Unite us, be as one. Unite us, be as one. So much healing and joy to you all in this season. A tough one. Lots of losses I've heard from friends. So allow Babalú and other of the Orishas and healing gods and goddesses to hold you deeply. If you love this video, like it on my YouTube channel, subscribe, send the word to others so that we can move to bring back this beautiful energy, this divinely feminine energy through love and connection and cooperation and healing, all the ways that are universal to whether we are men or women, and whether we are invoking male or female deities and archetypes. Thank you, thank you. I will see you again soon. Happy holidays.